Global superstar Ed Sheeran is back with a new album. It has been a few years since his last one. His last one saw a very new direction for Mr. Ed, as he decided to just do a complete collaboration project from start to finish. Every track had a different feature. Some had multiple features. Flashbacks to that friggin', what was that one? That Camila Cabello one? Oh god. And to be fair, the vast majority of that collaboration album was not to my tastes. It wasn't my cup of tea. I do like a good cup of tea, but that album did not satisfy me in ways that I want my cup of tea to satisfy me. It was like piss. But I sort of admired it for, you know, Ed Sheeran just wanting to go off and do his own thing, completely just erase what you'd usually expect from him. And there were like rap features on there. Ed Sheeran was rapping as well himself on some tracks. But regardless of my own opinion, I still at least, you know, appreciate that it was a passion project. He's always wanted to do it. He came through and did it. Besides that, he's always just been this artist that makes pretty sappy love songs and then occasionally goes in a pop direction. And whenever he tries to do a big pop song, it never really sounds that good to my ears. But Jesus Christ, does everyone else just disagree? Because he breaks records. He has some of the most viewed videos ever on YouTube with A Shape of You and other songs as well. He's massive, and yet I just never really cared for his albums and most of his singles. There's a few tracks I like. I've liked a few tracks. I'm not going to go as far as saying I think all of his songs are bad. I think that would be a bit over the top. I like Don't. I actually like Don't. I think that one's about Ellie Goulding or something. I'm not sure the full in and out of it all, but I think that's quite a good track. And I'm pretty fair too. I don't hate some of the songs in ways some people out there really seem to detest his songs. I don't think he's that bad, but he can border on being very bad. And he borders on it on this album quite a few times. Numerous times, I will say. And unfortunately, once again, he's given us an album here that equals bad. It's not like every moment is awful and unlistenable, and you know, everything is just like, you know, that Mourinho meme where he's like ripping off the bloody the headphones, and he's just like the disgust, the rage in Mourinho's face. You see it in the meme. It's not like every track is like that, but it all just kind of comes together and just ends up being this like really bland pop album that brings nothing new to the table for pop. Not that it has to bring anything new to the table, but I think for a pop artist, you need some kind of personality that shines through. And I think Dua Lipa's a good example of that. Does she do anything new that we've never seen before? No, she's never done anything we've never seen before. Let's be honest, she doesn't. But the personality and the charisma behind her vocals and, you know, the way she words herself in her songs, it just makes it so catchy and fun and accessible. And Ed Sheeran just doesn't have that twist. He doesn't bring that new dynamic. He just fades into the background. And I wouldn't even be surprised if an album like this flopped because of how bland it is. But it won't flop. That's the thing. An album like this deserves to be like an artist's deathbed. Maybe that's a terrible way to word it. I did not mean like that. I mean like the artists, you know, nail in the coffin for their pop career. This should be like way less successful than his other ones, and it won't be, but it should be. A track like Tides, for example, kicks off this album in the most inoffensive way. It's a completely nondescript starter for the album. It doesn't even sound bad, really, but it's just so meh. Like, there's just nothing here that we've not heard Ed do before. And, you know, any other artist in pop music could just make a song like this. It's just so derivative. A track like First Time. Ed Sheeran's made this song before. This sounds like A-Team. I don't mean the lyrics. I know the lyrics in A-Team are very different to some of Ed Sheeran's usual songs. I kind of commend that song for going in that kind of direction for, you know, a very big popular song. But It's just like the same melody on the chorus. It's basically, you know, the same chords we've heard in any Ed Sheeran song ever. He really is a very simple guitar player. We can't deny that. He doesn't venture out and, you know, branch out into any new sort of guitar ideas. It's just the same song you've heard him do before. Lyrically, it adds nothing new either. It's just basically saying, hey guys, isn't it nice when you do something for the first time? Isn't it lovely? It's bloody lovely, I tell you that. Isn't it lovely when you first go out and ride your bike? It's so lovely, isn't it? It's like, it's just that kind of crap. Like, he's just saying something we all already know. The Joker and the Queen, man. I know the imagery that he was trying to set with some of the music videos were kind of like him trying to be like this, you know, edgy Joker character. But I didn't think he'd commit to it this much with this bloody song. Literally titling it that and then acting like he's the Joker, I think, and whoever he's with is just, you know, a wonderful queen, and he's just, you know, is not worthy of that. And my God, when the bloody strings come through, man, towards the end of the track, oh, I'm ready to puke. I usually love strings that can really elevate a song's beauty. I'm always praising that kind of thing on this channel with all kinds of different albums, but God, when it gets it wrong, it sounds like this, and I'm ready to throw up. It's the Ed Sheeran way of doing things. It's just so cheesy and just so icky. And Shivers is just the pop song version of that. This song is exactly the same. It's just very typical lyrics that I think only Ed Sheeran could write. There's something about when he tries to be a bit sexy and sensual in his songs that just really doesn't land well for me, and this is the perfect example of that. Also hate how committed he is. He has a heavy commitment to always bringing in the acoustic guitar in his pop songs, and it's this exact same thing once again. And over the chorus, you can just hear the guitar, like the acoustic guitar, sorry, playing over the chorus, and it just sounds so awkwardly placed. I honestly think the song would benefit if you took that out. I'd like to hear a version without those on the chorus, because I just think it sounds so badly put together. Collide is a weird one for me. I feel like this track already sounds like something that is dated, even though it's just come out. This song sounds like it's a relic from the 90s, some kind of pop singer from the 90s that we don't really talk about anymore. But yet they had multiple hits. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, probably because we don't talk about them anymore. But there's always those random singers that just don't get brought up ever. And this song sounds like it came from that era. Or it's like Coldplay trying to do a song that sounds like it's from the 90s. I just don't like this one at all. Bad Habits. I don't know what to say about this song. It doesn't sound bad, but it just doesn't have anything that pops to it either. And I also feel like the melody after the chorus has been done like a million times before in British pop music. We had an era where we just tried to be like tropical and, you know, a bit, you know, quirky and different with our melodies, and, you know, we'd throw in these kind of like dance hall kind of inspired beats. It wasn't just in the UK, to be fair. There was a lot of artists across all different countries that were doing this. It was very summery, it was very, you know, tropical. And I feel like this track's trying to do that on the melody a little bit, but just doesn't quite get there. I think my biggest issue with it though is just how basic it is. This song sounds like an AI robot made a pop song. Like, it just sounds like the most basic formulaic pop song you could imagine. It's so obvious in the way it sounds. I can't quite describe it, but it just sounds like something that's been generated by computers. Speaking of basic, listen to the song Love in Slow Motion and tell me that Ed Sheeran hasn't wrote these lyrics 19 times before. Because I'm telling you right now, he has. He definitely has. The rhymes he comes up with are just so obvious. I was literally sat there like going, oh, it's going to be this word. And it's going to be this word. I was playing one of those kinds of fun games. You know, I wasn't taking shots every time I did, but if I did, I'd have been pretty drunk. It's just too obvious in what, you know, Ed is trying to write about here. There's just no uniqueness to the way he writes, which is frustrating as a listener, because you just want something that comes through that is a bit like, oh, that sounds cool, that's different, and he never offers that. Speaking of that too, he just ends up starting to sound like other artists on some of these songs as well. Visiting Hours, please tell me this isn't Hero by Enrique Iglesias. Someone come through and say it doesn't sound like it, because this sounds exactly the same. I would not be surprised if in about 3 months or 4 months or however long down the line, we'll have a situation that we had with Olivia Rodrigo's, which one was it? Good For You, where, you know, so many people were just like, sounds like Misery Business, that they basically had to settle and go, yeah, okay, we'll give it a writing credit, and, you know, Paramore will get some royalties from this. I would not be surprised if it was the same with this song, because they just sound so similar. And then Sandman sounds like a Jens Lechman song. He probably doesn't know who Jens Lechman is, so I'm not going to claim he's ripped off Jens here at all, but listen to any Jens Lechman song from like 2007, this song sounds the same, and it sounds like a child version of it as well. So yeah, not too good from my point of view. That's the thing with Ed, it always sounds like a PG version of something else. Even Shape of You, which was trying to be like, you know, a bit sexy, ooh, look at the shape of you, it sounded like Kid Spot was writing the lyrics. That's how vanilla he is, like 100% of the time. And vanilla's fine, you know, but I don't know, I want a bit more spice to songs like Overpass Graffiti, you know? It just, again, sounds like it's paling in comparison to songs like The Killers would make. And I don't even think every song The Killers makes these days is brilliant. They're just fine most of the time. But if you're not even reaching the level of a song that I think is just fine, you're somehow lower than that. And that's Ed Sheeran for you. A baffling, successful album this is going to be for me. Look, I'm not saying just because I think something isn't good, it can't be successful. But I usually have an understanding of someone, you know, an artist that does well. Olivia Rodrigo, I mean, she obviously appeals to a teen girl demographic. Her writing, her lyrics, they're just so obviously, I'm a teenager and a boy has broken my heart. I don't relate to that, which is why I didn't review the album, or I didn't even listen to the full album. But you can see where the success comes from. There's about 100 million teen girls out there that have been broken-hearted. Their hearts have been broken, sorry, by a boy. Like, you can see where the success comes from. But like Ed Sheeran, I'm just like, who does he write music for, and who is listening to these lyrics and thinking that, wow, he's one of the greatest singer-songwriters of our time. He writes in ways we've never heard before. Who thinks that? Tell me. If you are out there and you think that, tell me why. Tell me why. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. It's bad. You probably knew it's going to be bad though. But then again, you might be one of his biggest stans, and you're going to jump to the defense of this album in the comments, and that's okay. And you're okay to like this album. You're allowed. You're valid. But for me, I just want to implore you to venture out and find other artists, because let me tell you right now, he is far from being a unique artist in terms of anything that he does. I think he would even admit that, you know. I think he would view himself and be like, yeah, my songs aren't that special. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like the kind of guy that would say that. But yeah, anyway, bad album. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Sorry about my voice still. A bit nasally. Still got a cold. It's very sad. Thank you for watching, as always. Subscribe if you haven't already, and goodbye.